Good morning, everyone. This is Rotimi Tayo, your host on the Good Morning Education Show. Such an exciting day to be alive. It's Friday, the 23rd of July, and this is the Good Morning Education Show. I am streaming from Lagos, Nigeria, to West Africa, to Africa, and the entire world. I'm excited to have you on the show today. If you're joining us for the first time, please do let us know. I have a special thing for you today. So do not hesitate to tell us your name, your location, where you're joining us from, because this is the Good Morning Education Show. Wake up, everyone, especially those on holiday. The Good Morning Show is here. And if you're traveling, wherever you're traveling to, Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Bangladesh, Turkey, wherever you are, the Good Morning Education is here. And we always have this pleasure to say that it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show, and I'm sure it's going to be a great morning for you as well. And as we do on the show, we're going to share some headlines of news, interesting headlines, I must say, that we have today. And then we'll take a bit of break, and then we'll talk about the subject matter of the day. Interestingly, we have a special topic today, and we also have a special guest. You don't want to miss the show today. And I'm telling you, for those who watch the replay, just send me messages, send inbox to me about your experience. And I'll be glad to share with our analysts, our guests, and our tribe members. And on the show, we also want to say this. Feel free to ask questions, and of course, do ensure that you make your contributions on the show. We will read your comments. We will show and share your comments. And on the show, there's something called the grant of the day. I don't want you to miss it. You must not miss it. Be a part of it. And finally, guys, like our videos, subscribe to my channel, share the views, and everything that you have to say. We will take feedback. I promise you we'll do that. Without wasting much time, we already have people who are joining us. Oluwayomi Ojo is saying, I am joining from Lagos for the first time. My gifts. Good morning, Sorotmi and the crew. All right, I'll tell you a gift. It's the bell of blessing. We ring the bell of blessing for those who are joining for the first time. I hope you caught that blessing. Receive, receive, receive. Yes, and then we have Bukitunde Oshunde, Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining. That's also someone who is fast becoming our tribe member. And then of course we have our analyst in the studio. Well, our traveling transit analyst. I know she might not be able to say much, but if you can hear me, I know you can hear me. It's time for you to say hello to the world. Good morning, Dr. Oluwafalote. On our way to,
Morning.
I'm not saying where again.
Good morning. I like your hoodie this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're looking. We're,
It's a different style
we're,
today.
we're looking for Sunday, bro.
Are we about to also launch the rap carrier?
No, actually, this is Niger Kids, repping Niger Kids. So I hope Titi will
Oh,
send me
okay.
some endorsement. In case you want to endorse your brand or you want me to advertise your brand, please hook me up. I'm not too expensive. 2 million will be bad. Tell someone to tell someone. Thank you. How's the journey? I hear you're running a mobile crutch right now,
Yeah, and I'm loving it.
and you've not paid your tithe.
Well, let's get the endorsements done. I'll be the post keeper, and the title come out of that.
Okay. No problem. No problem. We'll get that. We'll get that running to you. I'm very, very sure that let me just, I know that I have a headline from you, and I want that to be the very first headline that we have this morning. But before then, I know that it's interesting that we have a guest in the house today. And so I'd like to introduce him. He's someone I've known for many, many years. Trust me, many years. I think I met him in 2006, I presume. 2006, yes. 2005, 2006, thereabout. And he's been doing amazing things across several sectors and several spheres. He's a consultant, and I believe that he's going to share his video as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Adebo Wale Jeff Johnson. I used to call him Debo, and he has put Adebo Wale. I know there will be a reason for that. So, welcome to the show. Good morning, Jeff. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Rotimi. I'm doing very well. Thank you. It's been years since 2005, I believe, as well, or 2006. Back then in Agowe, and it's been it's been a journey, and I watched you from close, from afar, and I want to appreciate God for how far He has taken you, and definitely how far He has taken me as well. Yes, my full names are Adebowale Jeff Johnson. Debo is just a short form, of Adebowale. Royalty has returned home. I am. Um, I am a child of God, and a child, a gift of God to my parents. They're both still alive, doing very well. These two human beings are one of the most wonderful people you can find on the surface of the earth. They have stood by me over the last 4 decades and two, like no other. Like, you just look back and, if you really want somebody that you can fall back on, you can always just look back and say, hey, I have, these two people, and my siblings have also been fantastic. And, Rotimi, one of the people I can call a brother from another mother. The relationship is a bloodline of God that goes far beyond just meeting, and I really appreciate you, and thank you for having me
Thank you.
join your platform today.
Thank you very much. A bell of blessings for you too. And we have our doctor from the USA, doctor from the States, doctor from Yankee. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Omotola the Great. She has a surname, but the full name is Dr. Omotola the Great, Dr. Omotola Akishola. Good morning. How are you today?
Morning. Good to be on the show. Thank you.
With all the paparazzi greetings, I said morning. I know you just.
Jesus.
Is it the time difference?
No.
I disturbed you from collecting one money in your dream.
No, I just wanted to come gently.
So give me some energy like Titi would do it. Good morning, Dr.
Good
Omotola.
morning, world. Good to be here. Excited for a great show and a great day.
Yes, sir. Have you heard one of the headlines today is that we have a guest on the show who is running a mobile crèche interstate.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm excited about that. That is awesome. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to hearing more and learning more. That is definitely a big need, and I'm glad he's able to feel it.
Because that's actually Finn that is running that crèche service.
Wow, Finn, way to go. Please come and share some of the. Just joking.
Okay. All right. So let's move over to the headline, right? We have the first headline today, and that's coming from Anambra State. Anambra State. I believe that in Anambra there are certain things that are happening. Anambra is set to hire 500 primary teachers. This is credited to the Nation newspaper. So let's hear from you, Dr. Omotola. What's your take on that?
I think it's exciting that they're investing in doing that, but I still worry about what is the state. We've been talking about teachers and how they are the future and how they are needed. But I'm like, yes, it's not enough to just hire them, but is there going to be like training and development beyond just the hiring alone? Because I think that's what I've seen, that we don't have enough of that in which they have continued education or professional development. So it's wonderful that they're trying to fill the gap and want to ensure that there are more teachers to help the students. But the question is, beyond just hiring them, what's the plan to ensure continuous education and professional development for them? But I'll say I'm excited that they are willing to invest in teachers, and I hope that it's not just the investment alone of hiring them, but helping them to develop to be the best they can be for the state and for the students that they're going to serve.
Yes, thank you very much. Faye, do you have anything to say on that?
I would say that it's a good thing that they're hiring new teachers. We all know that there are not enough teachers to go around. So yes, good that we have new teachers on board. I hope that they can also be encouraged to stay on, that salaries will not be owed, that the environment will be conducive. That seems like a tall order. It really should not be, but understanding the peculiarity of our society right now, I would just say that I hope that the government can make the make this appointment, uh, make them enticing to the teachers and keep them on. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Let's hear from our guest, Debo Ali Jeff Johnson. What's your take on this?
Okay, so statistically, Anambra has been one of the best states with education in the last few years. I remember I was doing a project, a national project in recruitment for one of the national agencies, I think in 2015. And, in trying to understand the report and the success rate of who wrote the particular entry test for that that national organization. We took a look at the whole level result across states because, like I said, this is a national organization. It's one of the federal agencies that we're recruiting for back then. And Anambra is one of the top states when it comes to education. So if the state is taking this step, it also shows the value that the state has put on education in trying to get the minds of young people to the right place. It's a welcome idea for me. It's something that I believe every state should. In fact, what I always say is that the foundation of the Nigerian problem, most especially, and then if you also look at Africa as a whole, is education. And education is not academics. I always say this as well. Education is not academics. So if we can get good teachers, if states can actually bring in good teachers, train them, equip them, like my sister mentioned, then it becomes easier for them to transfer knowledge. And we need to have the right people who have the passion to actually develop the young ones and actually get them, to become better. So yes, it's a welcome idea. It's something that I believe and I think that other states should actually adopt. But then we should also begin to think forward and say, how do we then deliver knowledge, without necessarily having to use the regular structure that we have in education, which again talks about the future. We used to call it back then some years ago, the future of work. Now, future of learning is now what we have to use in learning. Now, if we have mobile crutch, then definitely we can actually learn without having to have, teachers who must come to a four wall of a block, and, we need to begin to look at that mix as well. I know that there's what you also call scripted teaching and scripted learning. Can our teachers that are being recruited, trained to actually understand how that works and stuff like that. So yes, it's a good one, but the question is it well thought out, and is it that the state is moving forward, or rather just recruiting just for the sake of recruitment?
Thank you so much. That was quite profound. And then we'll move to another headline. I believe that let's even treat that headline that I was talking about fee as well, and it's a very important one. And I think it's also it's disturbing actually. Uniben inaugurates panel on female students wearing malpractice shirt. Sophie, it's time for you to answer your name. You brought this news up.
When I heard the review this morning, I had to go look for the item, and it's disturbing on two parts. One, that a graduate would want to flaunt the fact that examination malpractices have taken them as far as they have gone, proudly putting that on a t-shirt, and that the school will miss it for no matter how long it went on for. Now they're saying that they're going back to review. They have actually set up a panel, they say, to review the ladies' results from her second year. So if examination malpractices went on that long to the point that the students graduated, then it says something about the school. I also see, they're now saying, oh, we're setting up a panel to look into the result. That's well, maybe a little too late. If she has to, maybe they say, oh, you have to write exams again, but that's the consequence for her. But I'm hoping that younger people and students are learning something from this, that sometimes your choice of words, oh, it's vibe. I'm just catching my vibe. I was just joking. That there are certain things you don't joke with. You don't put that out there and say, oh, even if I'm almost certain that this is not someone that went through school, that graduated because of exam malpractice. I'm almost certain she was just trying to be funny. But I hope students are learning and realizing that, look, there are some jokes that you do not, there are some jokes that are bad tastes. Watch what you say, watch what you put out there, and that, hopefully this situation will be remedied. I hope so, because after spending how many years in school and you have to go back, it's a sad situation, really, but lessons I hope are learned.
Well, there's always a first time. So everybody is very, very quick to share their life on social media, and so she got it coming, I believe. She got it coming. But then when he mentioned that it's not possible, you think it's there's a statement you used about the school. The truth about it, the school has a right to investigate. And I'm telling you, if it's going by if it's going by the way Nigerian schools are, trust me, there is
She's
no
going to
way.
do maybe another 4 years though.
No, it's for us. Do you think the girl even needs the school? But what? Maybe the girl. What if the girl didn't even pass? We're talking about. Anyway, let's move on. Moving on. Art should be introduced early to learners, says educationist. Ugochi, welcome to the show. So we're going to welcome you with this headline. I want you to have a take on that.
Good morning, Mr. Ritimi. Good morning to all our amazing panelists.
Good morning,
Yes, it says
Ogechi.
art should be introduced. Art should be introduced early to learners. Well, I guess that already art is part of what we do in school from an early age now, isn't it? All those coloring activities that children do in workbooks, then before you now move to higher classes where you now do fine art as a full subject and all that, I think is already there, except maybe this educationist is saying it's no more there like it used to be in our time. And is advocating that, okay, it should be a constant feature, just where we have maths and English. And if that's the case, I think it's fine. And it's fine because, children are in that young age where they're exploring. So it's great to give them as many options as possible so that they can see the things that they love and the things that they thrive in, without just maybe saying, oh, some subjects are more important and sidelining others. So if that's the case, yes, I'm all for it.
Welcome to the show. You came ready, and I know you say I'm born ready. All right. So
now.
So there's a news on Punch. I like Adeboale Jeff Johnson to give us a remark on that. Youths urged to build Nigeria, says the world is not ready to take 240 million migrants.
But actually, Rotimi and the rest of the world listening to us, it is the truth, and we must sometimes wake up to tell ourselves the truth. The world is not ready to to accommodate us. If anything should happen, if Nigeria should fail, so it is important for us to actually begin to think of how we will do things differently. And my take on this, Rotimi, somehow, if at least you know my story, I'm politically biased in the sense that, I ran for office, in an election, a senatorial election last year, and I'm still pushing on in that quest. And the quest is to be part of it. We cannot sit back. And all we think about is how I'm going to jack back, like, what's the plan B, the plan C or D. Yes, we already have a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora. And on a daily basis, Nigerians, youth, great minds are shipping out of the country. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I keep saying this, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with it. But the question that I have for you and I, at least, for those younger ones to come in and looking at, what is the next thing for them, is that if our parents, if our fathers have brought us to where we are now, we are already at the lowest that we can be. The question is, do we want to continue to dig further, or we want to get up? And that's what UN has asked for, is that we should get back up and build our nation. And we don't need any better time for the world to tell us that this is the time for us to wake up and build our nation. It is in our hands. Yes, it may look like there might be one or two sacrifices. It's already happening. Maybe it is not close enough to us, that's why we don't know. But truly, as we know, even the Southwest is no longer safe when it comes to kidnapping and the rest of it. Right here in Lagos, a few meters away, in fact, actually in my hometown, as of last week, I was at home with my parents, and I was told that there's one particular guy that used to behave like he's crazy. Apparently, he's a kidnapper. So there are people, that are already feeling the effect of all of these things that are going on across the country. So we cannot continue to sit back and expect the world to be the one to come and build our nation for us. So yes, we would need to wake up. And we need to do something about the so-called political class. We say, hey, there's a political class, and we stand aloof, and we say, no, we don't want this. But when it comes to the day of election, we sit back in our house and on social media doing analysis. We're busy typing, we're busy punching, we're busy scrolling. Meanwhile, we are not taking the bull by the horn to actually go, in. And we don't also need to wait till the day of election. In fact, the engagement needs to start from the primaries. There is a local government election going to happen tomorrow in Lagos. I'm sure you and I know that hardly did the Nigerian youth take it serious. Meanwhile, this is actually where the power really, really, truly lies. And so we need to wake up to the understanding that we need to get up and actually be involved. And that's the summary without having to sound too political, because this is not a political platform.
Thank you so much. And while you were speaking, one of our analysts joined us in the studio, and that's KK. We call her One Woman Republic. Our name is also known as Okeyin-Fun Ajayi. Good morning, KK. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Good morning. Hi, everyone.
Oh, see that voice. Oh my God. Oh my God.
KK,
I'm taking endorsement, so.
No wahala, no wahala.
So like now, I'm repping Niger Kids today.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
So I'm waiting for Busy Minds. I'm waiting for Safety Chick. I'm waiting for everyone, even Debo Jeff. Election, brand me election. You know what I mean. All right. A good news for education. President Buhari, Nigerian government will increase budgetary allocation to education. KK, let's hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, when I saw the headline, I haven't clicked and read it, but just seeing the headline, I was excited. But I mean, we've heard so much about allocations, right? It's not so much the allocation, but the execution of it, right? And actually seeing that it's going to these places and tracking the spending and saying, oh, you know what? This is what, just transparency regarding how these allocations are used. So I love the fact that at least we're finally getting recognition that we do need to do something about our infrastructure, do something about our teachers, do something about our children, but then how is this going to be used, right? And what sort of transparency surrounds it. How is the allocation going to be? Who is going to be accountable for it, right? So those are questions that come up as I just saw the headline. I'm going to click and read a bit more about it, but I mean, I'm happy that it has that recognition. But like I said, the transparency and the general brouhaha that typically suggests surround these allocations are usually not they just take the juice out of the joy. Yeah. Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, can I
Yeah.
add something? Because I read
Yes.
the headline and I'm like, why does he take a visit from a private school principal or proprietress for him to make that commitment? So is he like an afterthought that is just like mouth say because they came to visit him and they're saying, oh, you should definitely look into increasing. So I'm still a bit skeptical that anything good is going to come out of this, because based on what was reported, it was because that school principal and some of the staff and students went to visit him in his house. That's why it's making news. And so I'm just like, so assuming they didn't go to visit him and greet him for the recent holiday, is he good? Will he have said what he said? So
That
I'm
was a
just like,
Salah gift, Dr. Motola.
okay.
That was a Salah largesse.
When it's finally
Okay.
landed in the bank account, we'll see it as the gift. But right now, I'm not hopeful. But let's see.
Exactly. I mean, I just looked at him, and I mean, he just said increase the allocation. So, what is the allocation targeted at? So exactly, Dr. Motola, those sort of things just seems just a really politically nice statement. So, yeah, thanks for highlighting that.
All right, so we're going to have this. This next headline says registration hiccups partly responsible for UTME performance.
This is so ridiculous.
Hello?
No, I was just saying that. Are we still on this UTME issue? Like they're still blaming. It's ridiculous.
Let's hear from Debo, Jeff Johnson. Hello.
Okay, so for me, it's Nigeria. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, so
yes,
for
we
me,
can.
it's like when you get to read some things. Yeah, so when you get to read some things, on our headlines, you will not have any. You may end up not having hope,
Hello.
about our country and how this country is going. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so like it's possible that you lose hope in the country when you read some headlines, and it's amazing that in the first place, not to the first headline, I was going to make a comment about it, but it's just funny that the country is finally understanding that education is going to be the beginning of the foundation of the solution to our problem. But when you now have to see the next headline that talks about UTME and the failure rate, I have done an extensive work in this regard, and I built an app that is to help students, perform better at the examination. And I try as much as possible to sell this to people and to get people to connect to it, and they didn't see the value in it. So if we see the outcome of this result and somebody is blaming it on registration, it just clearly shows you that we have people who do not have any business, with education actually handling it. We have the wrong set of handlers handling education in Nigeria. Because how can registration be a problem, for result of of students? How can you tell me that it's because a lot of people did not register? That is why you have high failure rate or low success rate. It just shows that the people who are handling these things are clueless about what their roles and responsibilities are. And yes, I will be hard in my response to this because it's just very laughable that anybody can attach registration to success rate. The real issue behind this is that we have no education. I always say this, and hear me out. We do not have education in Nigeria. What we have is crippled academics. Because if the handlers, the teachers, the agency or commission managers, i.e. the people running either all the examination boards or our Ministry of Education, are superb and the rest of them, can be given this kind of flimsy excuse as a reason for outcome of an exam. It just shows you that we don't know what we're doing when it comes to education, and we need to think deep. What is our curriculum? What is it like? What are we teaching? Are we still going back to teaching theories that already we have some modern day professors that have disapproved, and yet we're still trying to teach that? Are we still forcing our students to learn, and cram, definitions? Meanwhile, we're supposed to be more research-based. We're supposed to be more forward-thinking. We're supposed to focus on how people can actually learn and know what to do with the knowledge, use their brain. Education is about the capacity to use your brain and think, rather than just cramming and just trying to go to exam more. So if you also find a student in Uniben who has said that she's gone through school by malpractice, the answer is that is what it has always been. We also went to, at least those of us who went to universities in Nigeria. I'm not sure whether everybody went to universities in Nigeria here, but every one of us that went to universities in Nigeria, or at least a university in Nigeria, understands that malpractice is encouraged even by the lecturers. Not just that the students want to carry extra and write some small papers. You will go into an examination hall, you will be done writing that examination hall, and then your class rep or class captain, whatever they call them, will come to you and tell you to come and start donating for 5,000 or 10,000 so that you can get a good score. This is what happens. You will find parents who will go to the exam hall looking for special centers for their students, so that the special center can give their children the opportunity to cheat at the examination hall, encouraged by parents. But you will not find the same parents, you will not find the same teachers or lecturers. Lecturers will not come to class to actually disseminate good knowledge. Parents will not encourage their children to study hard. They will rather want to use the back door. So, these things are just laughable, that we are not seeing the entire value chain of how things have degenerated in Nigerian education system, and we're attaching legislation to success rate. It is just a total mess and a show of cluelessness.
Thank you very much. I think that's why I believe that you should get into the Senate, because I know you sponsor a lot of bills that will move the advocacy for better education in the country. Thank you very much. And while you were speaking, a very, very important member of our team on the show, joined us. That's Titi Adeosi, as Iben would like to call her, Ninja Kid. Titi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's good to see a full house. My goodness, we need more space on the screen to accommodate everyone. Good morning. Good morning.
Titi, you did not say anything to me.
Good morning, Rotimi. Good morning, Fee.
Can you see I'm repping?
Hey.
Send my check, my account number. I've sent it to you privately.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to the grant of the day. Dr. Motola, over to you, and then we'll come back to our focus.
So the grant of today is from the U.S. Department of State under the Secretary for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs, and the deadline is September 30th, 2021. And you can get up to between $500 to $10,000. So lowest 500 and then maximum $10,000. In the field of work, you can apply this grant, or your project or your program can focus on entrepreneurship, youth development and leadership, disability care and services, domestic violence, journalism, interfaith cooperation, religious freedom, law, social justice and human rights, news media, and other ones. You can read it on the screen. Also, these are for individuals, so you don't have to own a nonprofit, you don't have to own a business. If you're an individual who cares about making change happen in any of the field of work, this is for you. You should definitely consider it. And basically, you can use the funding for project, program, educational outreach, or even to go for a conference. And then the location is anywhere across Africa, basically. So if you see the list of countries, it's like representing both South, North, East, and West as well. And feel free to go to the website to check out more details and to look into what you need to submit for your application. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Motola, for that. And of course, if you check our ticker scroll on the screen, you get the details as well. And so on that note, we're going to talk about the topic of today. A lot of people find what we want to discuss kind of interesting and also controversial, because the topic says fail successfully. And we have in our midst a guest who actually has written a book on something around that topic. So I just said, you know what, why not, let's have you on the show today. So fail successfully. Before I come back to you, David, we're going to put you on the hot seat. I want to ask my team members, I want to ask our guest analysts, I want to ask them, is it possible to fail successfully? Let's start with KK. I'm going back to Finn, then I'm coming to Ugochi. So KK.
Yeah, I mean, the entire concept of success, to be honest, is self-defined. So whatever success means to you is really what success is. It's not about anybody else. So when I think about failing successfully, the first thing that comes to my head is not just staying in that failure, so to speak, but taking it and almost like failing forward, right? And saying, okay, you know what, these are my mistakes. Let me get reflective as to why this happened and what I need to put in place such that it doesn't happen again. So for me, that's how I would say to fail successfully, if such a concept exists. So I'm not just failing for nothing's sake. I fail knowing that I'm never going to fail again, because the things I put in place to ensure that I can move towards what success is to me. So yeah, that's it from me. Sarah TV.
Okay, Finn. Let's hear from Finn. Finn, are you there? Okay, let's get to Ugochi. Ugochi, please share with us.
Yes, it's possible to fail successfully if you take the lessons from the failing moments and implement, the new knowledge you have derived from it. So I was somewhere over the weekend, and one of the things the speaker talked about was the fact that we should stop. The opposite of success is not failure. That it's instead of us always harping on failure, instead we should say failing, because failure means that you have died, it has ended, and then there is no chance. But as long as you're still alive, there is still a chance for something good to come out of the situation. So we should focus more on, okay, this is failing. So what can we learn from this failing experience, and then do something, maybe make a tweak here, make a change here, so that it can produce better outcomes. Because really, for most people, that's what eventually leads to success, because you've tweaked, you've learned from previous failing experiences, and then you've now taken it into the future. So yes, failing can be successful when you take your lessons from it. Where it becomes a problem is when you stay there and you think it's all over, there is no hope, nothing can be done about it, and that's where it's a problem. But once you are positive minded and you say, okay, yes, this has happened, this was unfortunate, but what can I learn from it? How can I be better? Do I need to increase capacity? Do I need to collaborate? Just take your lessons and move. Then yes, you can fail successfully.
All right, thank you very much. And let me ask Titi this question: Why do we get so much stigma? And you find out that a lot of people are not even trying to take a risk any longer, because it's like failure has been so branded like a taboo. Even in business or in education, you find that nobody wants to explore their desire or dreams. They just want to say which profession is the highest paid profession now, and everybody's going there, regardless of skill, competence. Everybody wants the good life. Titi, over to you.
I think it's how we are brought up. It's now that people are talking about failure and saying it's okay to fail. When we were brought up, that wasn't the story. So to a certain extent, I don't know whether you can blame us. So we are products of our upbringing. And a lot of our upbringing was really more about success, success, success. And the people that were successful never told us about the failures behind it. I think it's now that more people are telling their stories. People want to tell you a perfect story, and that's really not what you want to hear. You want to hear, you are more drawn to someone that tells you all about their failings, tell you about how they, despite their failings, they succeeded. But a lot of the past has really been about just cut out all the failures and just tell the story of the success. I was singing and the next thing I was discovered by these people, and I hit. So those are what people are used to hearing. But the truth is that I don't really know anyone that succeeded without failure. Really, honestly, I don't. When you think of anybody's story, it's really, you need to sit through them and find out that they failed a couple of times. But the good thing about failure, which is what Safety Chick was saying, is that failure now tells you the doors that you shouldn't go through, or it makes you wiser, makes you stronger, and allows you to realize that you fail doesn't mean you can't get up and even overtake the other people that did not fall. So we need to tell more of those stories. We need to encourage our children. And it's okay to fail. Okay, so you failed today, that doesn't mean you fail tomorrow. So this guy is the top, the class. That doesn't mean you can't go and meet him. And there's a lot of that thing of moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So I think as we tell our people, our children, our own stories, of the things that we failed at before we became successful, then everyone would fear failure less. So I like the failing rather than failure. So it's not a a last bus stop. It's just it's just part of what you meet on your journey of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Dr. Motola to kind of just share with us in 60 seconds or less. What would you counsel people out there to do in terms of how to deal with any form of failure? It's possible that there are people who failed at something or who are experiencing failure or they're failing at something. What would your counsel be? 60 seconds, please. Thank you.
So I'll say, like Ogechi already said, first, like evaluate what you're failing at. Like understand what role did you play, what role does your environment play in it, and then take responsibility for it and move and decide what are you going to do differently. If you need help, ask for the help and then do it, because it's not enough to have insight or lessons from the failure. If you don't apply it, nothing is going to change. That quote that everybody knows, that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So it's the same thing. Once you fail, evaluate the failure, evaluate the failing, or and then decide, okay, what am I going to do differently? How am I going to act differently? What new beliefs, what new attitude do I need to put into it? And I think, and then also, like, use it as a stepping stone to do something greater. So don't let it cripple you, and that might include getting mentors, finding even co people that will believe in you, that when you feel like giving up, you can call them or text them and they will send you like encouraging what to keep you going, and just ensure that you learn from it and you use that insight to do better the next time you try. And even if you change paths, don't get stuck and say, oh, because everybody know me to be a medical doctor, I must stay on that path even though all your patients are dying. Maybe that might be a way for you to shift into a different thing where you have more talent or calling or more superpower in. And so evaluate it, learn from it, and act on that. And hopefully that helps you to definitely propel you to greater heights.
Thank you very much. And now back to our guest. I want him to just share with us. You've written a book, Adeboali, and this book has an interesting title. Please tell us the thinking behind the book. Tell us why you wrote the book. Tell us the purpose of the book, and share with us some nuggets from the book. Over to you, Davo.
Okay. Thank you, Rotimi. I appreciate, and I appreciate the panelists and everyone that has spoken. You guys have spoken wisdom. Like maybe I could almost think that you've read my book already. The book is titled "Irresistible Laws of Failure." Irresistible Laws of Failure. That is the title of the book. I started on the book about a decade ago, so it's a book that, as you know, gone through the test of time, and there are 10 principles in it. There are 10 laws, you know, in the book, and this is the foundation of the book. Solomon wrote about his father, and that's the best way I can put it. He said, "A just man, a righteous man, is a man that has perfected the art of falling, that has perfected the art of failing, yet shall he rise again." And it means that on the eighth, you know, seven said a just man is a man that falls 7 times, yet shall he rise again. So 7 means perfect. And then on the eighth, it said 8 means new beginning. It means grace. It's, you know, it's a new beginning. So on the eighth, it stands up again. Now, somebody cannot be failing or falling so many times if he remained on the ground. So just like the summary of what everybody has said, and for me, I have been through life, and like what one of my sister here said, growing up, like my father did, you can never make a mistake with my dad. It was impossible. You had to be a perfect child. I remember there was a day going to Maryland Primary School. I went to Maryland Primary School in Maryland, and I came back home. Back then, if you remember, 50 kobo was a lot of money, you know, at some point in Nigeria, 50 kobo. I came back home saving 50 kobo from my money that he gave me to school. And my dad saw me with the money, and you know, one would have thought that your father would be happy that you're starting to save, you know, have some money that you want to put aside and save from what is being given to you. And my father said, "Where did you get that money from?" I said, "Yeah, from the money you gave me. I said 50 kobo out of it." And he said, "Oh, that means that money is too much for you, right? So from tomorrow I'll deduct 50 kobo from it." It is an amazing thing that till tomorrow I never forget it. That our parents told us that failure or faith, sorry, there's no failure actually. Failing moments or things that you do in your life was a taboo. It's like it's the greatest of all sins that you can ever commit. So we always walked on eggshells trying to be perfect human beings, not knowing that failing moments are actually part of the journey. Michael Jordan said that as much as he's been celebrated as a basketballer, he failed at making the shot more than 9,000 times in his career. So if he ever felt that taking that 3-point shot that was going to give them the win when the whole game is on his shoulder, and then he did not make that, and then the next game they didn't give him, you know, the ball again, and he says, "You know what, I'm not playing this game again," he will not be celebrated today. And so many more people like that. And if you read my book, you would find series of people that I shared their story also. So at the end of each law, I shared a story of somebody that resonates with the law. Thomas Edison would not have light bulb if Thomas Edison did not keep going on until he got it right. He wasn't the only one doing the research. I actually found out in doing my own research. A lot of the time, everybody thought that it was only Thomas Edison that was making a research on how to get, you know, a light bulb. But there were other scientists who were also doing the same thing. But Thomas Edison did not give up until he found it. And so it means that today, as we talk about Thomas Edison, I've been talking about him for hundreds of years, is that he was resolute that even if he failed at it the first time, the second time, he will keep doing it until he gets it right. And that is the value that the value that we're not teaching, or we weren't taught, but now we need to begin to teach other people. If some notable names, and because we're a very, you know, bigger platform that is going, you know, worldwide, I would have mentioned some names, you know, not to say anything that would be against their personality, but you and I know 1, 2, 3 people that are notable around the world, that if we sit back, we'll say, but this person was a success. I mean, people who are on TV, people who are in the industry that everybody celebrates around the world, and then they commit suicide. And the question is, what was missing in their life for them to have given up, despite all of what they had? The thing that is missing is the fact that they did not understand the concept of the failing moment, that success can never be except you have some moments that you fail. So in life, they've told us that you are born, you start your school maybe at usually was at age 5, now age 2, you have to go to school, and we have mobile crèche now. So maybe even some kids from age 1, 1.5, they're already sent to crèche, and then you start the journey of education and you go through school at a certain age, you must be in primary school, from there you must be in secondary school, from there you get to university, from there you marry, you start having kids, you already will have had a job, you build a house, you have a car, and it just seems like it's just that perfect continuum. But it's not the same thing with everybody. So people must understand. And my book, even teenagers can actually read my book, and I'm actually pushing that, for us to actually even push it more to, our young ones, maybe from age 12, 13, those who are crossing into their teen age, for us to hand over this book to them and say, hey, begin to and understand that life is not just a perfect continuum. You are going to have failing moments. The only reason you will be a failure is when you give up. Now, in the journey of life, if you try something and it doesn't work, you drop it and try something else. You evaluate, you learn from it. You would pick on something else that would resonate with you based on your purpose. You must also, first of all, discover your purpose in life. So if they have that understanding, they will understand that nobody is a failure until they actually give up and say, I'm not doing it again. So the moment you are still alive, you are still breathing, you are not yet a failure. You give up. So you must always get back up again. You will fail at a moment or at the thing that you're trying now, but that does not mean you should give up. I had failed at so many things. And I wrote it even in my book that at the time I got back to my book, like I said, this book has been in the work for about 10 years. At the time I got back to my book, I had failed at a marriage. And I have not given up on love. And as much as I'm trying, as much as possible on a daily basis to be a better man. So that does not mean I'm a failure at being, married when I understand the purpose of God for my life. So everybody must understand that even if you get into, your career, this is my 22 years, it's going to be 22 in December, that I started my career with Philips Consulting, right? Now, if you start up your career and you have not achieved as many other things that others have achieved, what you need to ask yourself is what am I doing wrong? What are the things that I need to change? And what are my strategies? Where do I need to focus on? What are the new things that I need to do? Do I need to change my environment? Man is a product of nature and nurture. Man is a product of nature and nurture. Nature, you cannot do anything about it. It's your DNA. There's nothing you can do about it. The fact that you're born to a Nigerian parent, there's nothing you can do about it. We found ourselves where we are. That is nature. There's nothing you can do about nature. But there's something you can do about nurture. Nurture is about your environment. Who and who did you grow up with? If your association of friends are not taking you to where you need to get to, then you need to change the association of friends. If the environment where you are is not giving you the kind of life that you need to, you have to change the location. That's why I said earlier, I don't even mind if anybody is doing Japa. The most important thing is that if you're making a move to change your environment, don't get to the next location. And if you fail at anything in that next location, my life, what you must understand is that you must learn to know that the moment you get up and you start to leave, you will find failing moments. And what you need to do with your failing moments is that you need to take them, embrace them, rejoice in them. Don't be sad. And I said in my book that my failures have not only taught me sorrow and pains and all of that. They've taught me joy, they've taught me happiness, and they've taught me even success. They brought me a whole lot of things. So today I can be celebrated. People can wake up and say, oh, this guy, had made impact in my life. That is who I am today. But then I can look at myself and say, but I have failed in some moment. But you see, if I did not go through that journey in those places, somebody will not be saying, you know what, you have been an impact in my life. So this is the entire book, and much more to learn from it. We are not a failure until we give up, because there's nothing called failure except we decide to remain in that failing state.
Thank you so much. That's so profound. It's just unfortunate we're not able to say so much because of the time we have. But I would like to take from what you said and put that question to our analyst, because obviously we all have opportunities to talk to people, to share something with people, to impact people's lives. And I'm going to start with KK. I know that a lot of people out there would really share with what we just heard about, failure and, taking your time. But sometimes it's like people out there want to use that as a cloak for laziness, as a cloak for not putting effort. What would you say to balance that equation with people's perception?
I mean, it's interesting that you say people would want to use it as a cloak, right? At the end of the day, we are I don't know whether to use the word chatterlands, but we are chatterlands of our own success, right? So if we choose not to be successful because of what we've been through, then that's our definition of success, right? So anybody who chooses to say, oh, because I failed at this, I'm not going to move forward, then guess what? That's already the level of success that they're ever going to attain. So it's from learning, it's from reflecting that we move forward. So anybody who is going to be watching this and saying, oh, but I failed again, so what? Like Titi said, I don't think there's anybody who just wakes up and is an overnight success. You might be successful in one area of your life without going through some level of pain or failure, but never not working damn hard at it, right? So there is always that level of hard work. There is always that level of worry and anxiety, but it doesn't stop us from moving forward. So failure should not in any way stop us from moving forward. And for any parent out there who's going to be listening to this, right? Your children would learn from them just taking charge of their own learning and of their own futures, right? We can only guide them. If we guide them and they move out of our sphere of influence, direct influence, then what happens if they're not those people who understand the fact that I grow from stretching and from, sometimes a bit of failure here and there, right? So it's great to get it right the first time, but that you didn't get it right the first time doesn't mean you're not going to get it right. So that's what I would say regarding that. Thanks, Sarotimi.
Thank you very much. And let's just hear from Dr. Motola. There's this quote she's always sharing with us, and I want her to be able to just give us a kind of closing short, quote from all those your treasure chest of words of wisdom. Dr. Motola, are you there? Dr. Motola, we can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
So sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
No, I said, can you just give us a quote following what KK said? And we've been listening to our guest as well. Just give us one of those words of wisdom that you have. Just bring one out from that. Your treasure chest. Yeah.
I guess mine will be just fail fast and learn from it and go back to the drawing board again and until you get it right. That will be my fail fast, learn from it, and then try again. Faithful.
All right. Ugochi, safety check.
Okay. So I would say that failure is not an identity. Don't think that because you failed at something, so everything about you it's now a failure. No, that thing you were trying to do is what failed, not you, the individual. So your entire life and destiny has not failed. It's just that particular thing, right? So when we're able to have that perspective, it makes it easy to learn from the experiences that we have.
Thank you so much. And then, of course, Adebowale, Jeff Johnson, could you just share with us how we can connect with you online and how people can get your book as we wrap up on the show today?
Okay, you can connect with me Thank you very much, Rotimi. So you can connect with me by just going to any of the social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. That's if you're not in Nigeria, because Twitter is banned in Nigeria except you're using VPN. Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I think those are like the three major ones. And then, Instagram, right? Yeah. So if you just search Adebowale Jeff Johnson, it should bring up my handles, my profiles, on those platforms, so you can connect with me there. You can also reach me on WhatsApp. If I may drop my number, I'm very much a free person to reach on mobile. Is 081 222 55578. That's 081 222 55578. So you could reach me there, and then you could definitely ask for a copy. You could speak with me. If you also Google my name, I'm sure all of my profile is on Google. You can find that, and my company is called Purple Prime Limited. And I also have a couple of other products that I have on social media. So online. So you can find me there, and you will find my number online anyway. The same number, 081 222 55578. So you can reach me and then make your orders. I definitely take the orders myself. I take this call myself, and then I take your order, and then your order can be delivered to you within 2 working days. It is a physical paper, a printed copy. If you want the e-copy, I can also get that across to you. I'll need your email, but it will also be on Amazon, hopefully by next week Monday, for those in the diaspora who may want copies. Interesting thing also is that the book is also going to be Persia. My guys in the Middle East are translating the book into Persia, and they will have that circulated there. We'll also have my friend, my brother in the US, who is also going to print and distribute in the US and for the UK market, for those who also may want the paperback one. But here in Nigeria and across Africa, you already have copies from this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's all we can take on the show today. But before we go, there's this special way we end our show. So we have a statement that we say it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. And we also ensure that our guests always join us in that sign off. So let's test run, check your mic check 1 2 1 2. Let's hear you say it first, and then we'll say it together. It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. Debo, let's hear you say it.
Good morning, Education Show. Thank you for having me.
Yes, as in there's a payoff. We say it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. Can you say that?
So please type it out so that I can read it, because you're breaking. I don't know whether it's a network or your network.
Okay,
yeah, so I can read it and say
always a great morning.
It's always a great morning
on the Good Morning Education Show.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say it together, everyone.
It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education.
Fantastic. So everyone will say it at the count of 2. 1, 2, go.
It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show.
Good morning, Lagos. Good morning.